Cops, local cops, Mayberry style cops show up and they just think it's the greatest thing ever. Back in the day, before Facebook was super popular, it was websites with message boards. And you would message boards, and that's the only thing that kind of stinks about Facebook or current social media is because if you're working on a topic that kind of gets buried or to kind of find it kind of stinks. Message boards were always a treasure trove of information, and you could go back, but then it would be like some terrible image shack photo or something that would be like have a dead link. Back when I used to be the president of the North American General Lee fan club, I would do everything I can to find out all the information I could about the Dukes of Hazzard. And here comes Travis with another Dukes of Hazzard story, right? I kind of retired from it because there was a lot of, these are all my toys and I'm going to take my toys and when no one's allowed to play with my toys. And if you would piss off the Hazzard County citizens, that you would be the most hated person in Hazzard. And like I've said before, some people believe the Dukes of Hazzard is a documentary, and it's not. But the only thing that's bizarre now is you can watch The Cosby Show, but you can't watch the Dukes of Hazzard, which makes no sense to me. All this is going to circle back around to the message boards. And so we had an awesome message board with photos from the sets and all this stuff and where things were filmed and filming locations and how to build the cars. It all just kind of went south when we jumped the car and we destroyed another Dodge Charger and we became the hated citizens of Hazzard County. And then when I found the first General Lee, and we've told that amazing story here, it was just like, what do you leave real and what don't you leave real and what's left of it? Because it was a walking tetanus shot. Like, it was sharp and it was painted with lead-based paint and it was a mess. And these people are letting their kids jump in the car and like, oh, I'm in the General Lee. And I'm like, you maybe shouldn't be in there. But it was time to leave Hazzard County. We've had our fun. We've jumped the car. We restored the General Lee. The only thing we can do now is jump the car into the ocean with the entire cast in it as it explodes. I mean, then we were done. I've had my fun. I still love the car. I still love the show, but I didn't have to share my information with everybody because they were the smartest people they've ever met. So I shut down the website. And then another website took over. So I basically handed another group of people a ready to run site. And they had their own message boards, but all of their comments were basically the same as ours until it got down to what everybody thought about me. And Travis was the biggest jerk in Hazzard County, and he won't share the General Lee color, which I did here, but I waited 15 years to do it. And I won't tell him where this is. And I've taken all my toys. Wham, wham, wham. So I, from afar, was like, it hurts more if you don't respond to them. And I didn't respond to them for 15 years. And it was awesome because still to this day, they're kicking around stuff that we've known about for the longest time. But if they just weren't jerks, they'd have known too. There was a message board that had my first name, Travis, spelled with ASS instead of IS. So was the Travass files. And there was 26 pages of the Travass files on how everything from I wouldn't tell him this to that to how I cheat on my wife to you name it, just the most ridiculous crap, where I live, that I got felonies. You insert the grassy knoll and I was there too. Like, it was nonstop. Travis is a jerk. Never responded to him. But quietly, there was one asshole that lived in the next state in Michigan from me. And I was like, man, this guy has got keyboard courage, where he just, Travis is a jerk, Travis is a jerk. And it was the ultimate payback for me where I'm like, I'm not going to get on there and do it. If you're in jail and they roll all the bars and they lock all the inmates, there's always one inmate down at the end of the block going, Mr. Bullion, you're a jerk. And Mr. Bullion's like, I know, but I'm going to kick your butt when the bars are. And the bars roll and everybody's happy. Nobody, it's just cage courage. Nobody finishes what they started. But it was time for me to finish what someone else has started because his mouth has written a check his ass can't cash. And I was going to cash it in for him. So I came up with this plan because I knew where he lived, and he would never answer anything when I'd send him an email, or if I'd see him like at a convention, he'd be like, "Hi, Travis, how are you?" And I'd be like, "Man, dude, you just talked crap about me for 12 weeks, and now it's, 'Hi, Travis, how are you?'" So I came up with this plan, and here's where the cars come into this thing. If you remember the Publishers Clearinghouse, and they would have all the balloons, and they'd get out of that boring, bland Dodge Caravan and go running up and knock on the door. No matter what, if you saw the Publishers Clearinghouse showing up at your house, you're answering the door. It doesn't matter if you have warrants for your arrest or if you're Whitey Bulger, you're answering the door because the Publishers Clearinghouse is there. So I'm thinking, look, if this guy will not talk to me, I'm going to show up with balloons and a big check, because I knew he lived with his mom, like most Dukes of Hazzard fans did back then. And I was like, man, I'm just going to, the minute he comes out, I'm going to just lay the wood. And that's not like me, but I'm over it. You know, I've had it. Don't talk about my wife, and don't tell me that I'm a felon and all this other crap, because he couldn't have picked me out of two people. We rented a van. Everybody got suits. I went to my friend that has a sign shop, and I had him make a big check on a dry erase board. And I am going to his house to confront this cat, because I have had it. You can talk about anything, but don't talk about my wife or kids. You know, that's pretty much off limits. So we drive all the way up there, and we find out where he lives. And no kidding, he's got an old replica of a piece of crap cop car out there and everything else. And I'm banging on the door with the balloons and two other friends and one guy with a video camera, like old Digital 8 camera. And we got him. And it was like, hey, is he here? And I don't want to reveal his name, because I hate to give him enough credit, because this did happen. There was 4 people that saw it happen, and he's the 5th that took it. So mommy went to go get him, and he comes to the door, and I'm like, now is the time. I said, you have talked for not more than 12 years now. I wasted all this gas and all this other. If you have something to say, I am just going to. And I was just going to lose it. And it was going to be the Publishers Cleaning House, and I was here to clean up the mess. So he calls the cops and threatens to call them. They show up regardless. Moms call them and get off my property, this, that, and other. And we had the camera. We said, look, if you've finally got something to say, it's now time. It's wide open here, and there's nothing between you and me but air and opportunity. And I was breathing all the air, and he was scared out of his mind. And I'm not this guy, but I've had it at this point. Cops, local cops, you know, Mayberry-style cops show up, and they just think it's the greatest thing ever that I had driven roughly 175 miles just to confront this guy. But if you've ever wanted to do it, like there's always, you know, somebody's like, Ed Boleyn's a jerk or whatever else, but insert somebody here. You were like, okay, just whatever else. But there's that fine line. And after the years I've had it, so nothing happened. But I was able to prove my point that he was just a chicken shit and didn't want any part of this. But it wasn't that part of it that was hilarious. It was the scam that the damn Dodge minivan showed up with the balloons and everything. And he came running out like he won the Publishers Clearinghouse.
You asked for it, and Tempest now has an app. So head over to your app store now, download it to your phone, and leave them a great review. So now, whether you go to autotempest.com by clicking the link in the description below, or just open up your phone app, you'll be getting access to all the results from all the major listing sites in one place. That is why we love Tempest so much. We appreciate their support of VINwiki over the years, of Car Trek, but most of all because it is exactly where I go every day to find my next car.